Let's get to our first discussion now. Autonomy for local government has been on the front burner for many years, and this autonomy includes the freedom to impose taxation, generate revenues, as well as allocate its financial resources. While advocates have rooted for this change, there has been a delay in passing the bill into law until now. Now, this issue is top on the agenda of the National Assembly as it considers the review of the 1999 Constitution. The Joint Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution has split the state account from the local government account. Chairman of the House Committee on Constitutional Review, Ahmed Wase, says that this will further resolve some of the issues within the local governments in the country. This is the crux of our discussion next, and joining me in the studio to make sense of all of this is Razak Olokoba, a public affairs analyst. It's nice to have you join me now.
Hi, good morning. And great. Good morning, viewers at home.
Good morning. Now, local government autonomy has been on for so many years. In fact, I can say so many decades, because there's been one reform to another reform to another reform, especially under the military regime, various military regimes. But till now, we're still battling with the issue of local governments really being independent as a third tier of government. Why do we have this back and forth regarding local governments?
Mike, thank you for bringing me here this morning, particularly for this discussion. Local government autonomy is a path on the road that will lead to a dead end.
To a dead end?
Yes.
Why is that?
If you look at the composition of nations and duties assigned to various tiers of government, you will be bothered on the desperation of Nigerian political theorists who felt that there's a need to establish a model where the local government will be independent from states. It should be bothered because the most appropriate pattern that for us to adopt is for the federal government to stick to the fundamental responsibility of the federal structure, which means the government should be bothered, federal government should be bothered about external aggression. Establish a political model, economic model, in which we must work on. It is not the duty of the federal government to understand the peculiarity of 774 local governments in Nigeria. Federal government don't have that capacity. There's no resources. Such resources not available to federal government. So that's why I said that it's not going to lead us anywhere. When Obasanjo tries it, what you see is 774 signings on our roads by local government chairmen. If you look at each nations, you will know that states or the nation operates better when they take a firm control of the component part of the states and their local government. But by the time you create a crisis for the state government by removing the control of government from them and relating with Abuja directly, there's going to be a problem. Take, for instance, the president of Nigeria today. It has been established that he has a lot of responsibilities, and that's how our president are not specialists in any area of governance. They have too many things to look into, and that's not good for us. It's not about Buhari. We're talking about the definition of who a Nigerian president is. A Nigerian president is someone that sees to too many responsibilities. Why will you be taking the blame that is meant to be taken by governors, by other layers of government?
And by that he wields a lot of power.
He wields a lot of power. That power is weighed in such a way that does not advance the nation. He controls virtually everything, and you are adding another responsibility to him. The danger is that we end up creating Federal Ministry of Local Government again, added to what is existing already. Whereas, what we should be looking at is to reduce...
Is that what it would turn out if local governments are given some level of, or their level of independence?
State understands the terrain better than the federal government. The federal government does not have the time to know which land is meant for habitation, which land is meant for conservation for industrial purpose, where you get raw materials for your industries. The government might have a program where, so once you have a relationship between the federal government, the government will take over the land, which is a crisis between the state and the federal government till tomorrow. The land matter. So this can't take us anywhere. And the earlier we understand the danger of what we are trying to do, the better. Of course, state government have joint program with the local government, which is the area of contention of state. But by the time, see, we will come back to this discussion 10 years' time, if local government, if it is passed that they should be autonomous, because there will be crisis. And the crisis is what I'm beginning to point out, which is that why will you be relating with a component part of a state different from the state government? You should reach the local government through the state government. And you know that there was an aberration on ground before. The aberration is that why will the federal government think he has the understanding of a state to the extent that it will determine the number of local government? And where it begins is from the question of resource control. There is no state today that is not clamoring for more local government. But by the time you reverse the trend, where states are giving the control of their own resources, the number of population of your state will determine the number of times you are going to pay to federal government. If you do that, no state will increase its own population again. But there's increase in population, there's a demand for local government, increase in local government number. There is a demand for more creation, just because there's a federal criminals in Abuja that is ready to share all money. And when Nigerians say that Buhari is borrowing money, I laugh. And we should hold responsible to Fala A, Sam Aluko, Dr. All these people designed this economic model of borrow money and pay with all money. We want that in 1989, that one time Sharp was coming on board, that don't put this model on ground. It's going to create crisis for us. A model that says that you should not rely on anything than the oil money. And oil money got to a point that you cannot sustain the nation again. So we go and borrow it. So Buhari made the model on ground of borrow money, pay with all money, borrow. So on this issue, we are not going to head anywhere. We will be taking a step forward. I would think we are advancing. It's going to lead us back again.
What do you make of state governments? Because you used the word firm control. You said states should have firm control of local governments and what they do and how they do it. Now, we've seen, we've seen situations where local governments are not allowed to conduct the local government chairmanship elections, and then we've seen states have caretaker committees and all of that. As far as the constitution is concerned, that is illegal. And it's because the local governments are not allowed to be independent, and we have cases like that. And when monies are meant for local government, we hear in some of the reports we get that state governments, control whatever that's supposed to go to the local government. So when that firm control is in place, don't you think it retards how the people should develop at the local level?
See, allow states to design a model of how they intend to run their states. That's why we say that
even when it breeds corruption?
No. What I'm saying is that there are peculiarities.
Okay.
But because you have a unitary system under a federal structure, a unitary system under a federal structure, where you have a unitary system, you have a unitary police system under a federal structure. That's what it brings. Because you establish a universal pattern, and you establish a pattern for the entire nation. And it's not going to work like that. The way it works is allow state to design how it intends to run its own. That's what is called federalism. And that's why it's not working. You can't have an answer of 2 plus 2 and you think it's not for anywhere in the world. It's for anywhere in the world. The moment you shift away from the universal pattern, the laws that guide the principle of governance, you are not going to get a good result. And the most appropriate thing is to recognize the peculiarity of each state. State will determine how the state will be run, not federal government. There's a law that will guide them. But that law is only to the extent that a state must govern in some state. Maybe they don't even need more than 2 local governments in some states. Allow them to have it. But by the time you say that a state must have 10 local, whereas they need 20 local government, they will improvise. There's no how they will not improvise. There's no how local government will not improvise by having 57 local government. It is not possible not to increase the number of local government areas in Lagos State. It's not possible. With the number of refuse you have per day, you still want to have 20 local government chairmen, packing refuse of over 25 million people. It cannot work. So allow states who understand the terrain better, who knows the weakness and the strength of all the local government, who knows what the people of specific local government needs, not federal government, who always bring programs that are not useful to the people. So,
all right.
So we must understand the kind of country we live in. And the kind of country we live is that we have over 400 ethnic groups, and each ethnic have their own culture, they have their own style. So you cannot establish a particular culture, you cannot establish a particular value and impose it on the entire nation. It doesn't work like that. This is not America. America is almost one religion. It's almost one culture. It's almost it's one language. So it is easy to operate this kind of structure in America and works. It can't work. That's why it doesn't work in Britain.
All right, but the ideals of what a local government is, when it was instituted, because you mentioned the issue of theories earlier on, those who decided to bring to adopt this kind of a theory or this kind of a system based on the theories of the federal system and all of that, in all of those theories, research and practice and experiences have shown that local governments in other climes have their level of autonomy. So should Nigeria have a different kind of a system, a local government system in that?
But there's no way in those where those are practiced, where it is the federal government that have relationship with the local government. It's the state government. It's not the federal government. It's the state government. The state government must establish an autonomy for the state it creates, because it's the creation of the state. So you must fend for it. You must feed it. You must give such a local. For instance, when there's oil in your local government now, the local government and the state government must have the understanding that, oh, this is oil in your state. The dangers of it, because that's the nutrient of the soil. You must set a fund aside for future implication, future dangers, because it's going to arrive all the areas where we remove the blood of the soil, which is the oil. There's going to be future implication. There's going to be a future disaster. So allow the state government to reach where miners are going on. The state understand the implication. Where you have mineral resources that endangers the life of the people, the state government understand it better. It is not the federal government. So the autonomy that we are talking, it's not actually autonomy. It's intergovernmental dictatorship. Because when you remove state government control of a local government, it's a dictatorship from the federal government.
But as far as that is being the autonomy is being considered, there are no consideration that it is the federal government that should administer anything that's going on in the state. Sorry, at the local government level. It is just autonomy.
That's the danger it is now, because the fund, it will dictate the pipe. It will pay the piper, dictates the tone. A time will come when the federal government will say that there's going to be a universal program for all the local government, and that is very, very wrong. It's going to come to that. During Obasanjo's time, it happens like that, where they say all the 774 local government must embark on a particular program. That is not how to run a nation. The way to run a nation is, some people, bread is not their problem. Water is their problem. Some people is not shoe that is tie. Mike is tie. Some people is cap. So if federal government come up
that uniformity doesn't work for everybody,
particularly in a country like Nigeria, it works in a nation where there's
homogeneity.
Semblance of homogeneity.
Yeah.
But in a country where you have diverse culture and identities like this, it's dangerous. Why did Britain pull out of EU? Why is it that United Nations, France, go there to speak their language? Italy goes there to speak their own language. Different countries go there. Whereas if you look at the genesis of all these four languages, Germany, Italy, English, they did not match together up to tomorrow. They say, no, your countries are common. Even in Britain, there's the question of Scotland is to tomorrow. Yeah. Don't speak. I'm not an English person. And the best way to look at it is that I must understand where you are coming from. I must understand you are different from me. But by the time we have tolerance and refuse to provoke each other, Christian and we are going to become good brothers. We have over 2 billion Christians in the world. We have over 2 Christian Muslims in the world. Why must it be my aspiration that all Christians must become Muslim like me? Why is your aspiration that I must become a Christian? The day we understand that we have cultural differences in Nigeria, that's the day we solve half of our problem. Yeah. And that is going to extend to the characters and the attitude of our federal government. The character and the act of our government does not demonstrate that they recognize our diversity. And if you recognize our diversity, you must know the danger of uniformity at all times. Security uniformity, unitary system of security. You don't allow it. That's why all the challenges are abound.
Yeah.
Even when you want to bring economic policy on ground that was established, that Buhari also inherited now, that's part of our problem.
What do you make of, can't we achieve this peculiarities you're talking about with that state is different from this state and this state is different from this state, that region is different from, can't we find all of those peculiarities and express them within the autonomy that the government or the constitution is going to provide? The
federal government does not have the capacity to understand. The resources is not there. The president will see to 774 local government because at the moment they relate with the president. And we have, how many roads do we have in Nigeria that is federal roads? Do you know the number? Buhari must see to it. The security agents. So we're saying that the reason why our presidents are not specialists is because they have too much work at their hand. And there's a need for our president to understand our nation better. With this, the work and the responsibility of Mr. President today cannot allow him to have a better understanding, because there is no aspect of our life that is not crucial. And there is no aspect of our life that our president will have time for to have a depth of the understanding with the number of responsibility that is placed before him. And you are adding another one to it, to the list of what the federal government should be doing. It can't work. You can't understand it. There's a need for the federal government to provide supervision for the fund they use to local government. They won't be able to do it for 774 local government. The challenge local government have with their state government is what we should be looking at. Why is it possible? And the reason why it is possible is just because money that you don't work for, you won't have wisdom in spending it. As long as we continue to spoon feed state government, you will continue to have this kind of challenge. But if it is the state that generates its own resources, they will determine the number of local government they want, and they will be prudent about it. Look at some states today, look at the kind of program they pursue, and you wonder that if this money had been generated by, is this how we are going to spend it? And that's why you see when government properties are destroyed today, people are not bothered because they don't pay tax for it's oil money. We just dip and we start spending the money. And that's the kind of thinking that the federal government is having up to tomorrow, that after all, I pay the state government. Mike, either we call it a regional agenda or ethnic agenda. When someone is sick, the solution is medication. Whether the idea of medication comes from the enemy of the patients or not, it doesn't matter. The medication to our problem in Nigeria is to look at the structure of our country, and the structure of our country will keep us thinking that this is the direction, and the direction is a dead end. This autonomy we are talking about is a dead end. It can't take us anywhere. We have tried it before. Look at how it ended. And when we add regions, it was best managed by the regions. Look how we're best managed.
Yeah.
In the east, they have their own model there. In the north, it was working for them. Why do they think that a universal pattern, the direction where country prosper, we always go opposite it? A direction that we have gone through before that gave us prosperity. Why do you think that we are going to go opposite direction? This is opposite direction of a way to prosperity, opposite direction, a political prosperity. And the time has come for us to realize that we are 7th most populous country in the world. There's a need for Nigeria to work.
All right.
We have become a clog. We have become, look at the challenge we have in Africa now, on coup. Who's taking the lead now?
Yeah.
It's Nigeria that's taking the lead, that we don't work in Africa again. And that is the kind of role, that is kind of model that Nigeria should be establishing, that the pattern of government. Why do you have this kind of sources? Why do you think Lagos has become a model to other 35 states of the Federation? It's because it's working.
All right.
Because they saw the plan from the future to where we are today. So, by and large, what I'm saying in essence is that the earlier the members of our parliament realized the danger of local government autonomy, it's a dead end.
All right. We'll leave that as food for thought. Thank you very much, Razak Oloko.
It's a pleasure being with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.